Hi, welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. And welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin. I'm your host, Sharmin Prince. Today we have a great show ahead. I'm excited about the topic and the impact. Hopefully, it would provide information to you, um, some form of enlightenment, some financial enlightenment, because we all need that at some point. We all need to know how to save $1. And we'll have the swap queen with us tonight. She said she's running a little late, so we'll wait until she gets here. Remember to and share, like and share. Invite a friend or two to the show. Tell them today we are talking about saving money, how to save our money. And I'm excited. I want to learn how to save too. So this is great for us. According to Tell them today we are talking. According to Odetta, I'm so sorry, the swap queen. She likes to use the term stacking your coins. So tonight we really get a chance to learn how to stack our coins and how to save our money, and some of the things that we can um, actually cut back on. You know, in preparing for this show with Odetta, I was reading and listening to a podcast or two, and saving is not an easy thing. It's a sacrifice, it's a habit. So since Odette is the expert, we will wait for her to come so she can share with us on how to do that and what we can do and how we can save those money, and the different areas in our lives that we can reduce. And here is Odetta. Hi, Odetta. Hi, Odetta. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I
You
am
look
great.
beautiful.
Thank you. You too. And I love that you're staying with the shortcut. Very good.
Thank you.
Um, well, welcome to Talk Time with Charmin, Odetta. Everyone to my left is Odetta King. Odetta King, also known as the Swap Queen and coin strategist, prides herself in having absolutely zero debt and is dedicated to teaching, coaching, consulting, and helping her clients understand how to maximize their income, monetize their skills, and become financially independent. Odette is a speaker, an entrepreneur, licensed life insurance broker, a personal finance literacy educator, and a professional who is also very passionate on preserving our green environment through her swap life movement by educating and empowering others of the benefits of swapping fashion while staying true to her brand of saving more money, aka stacking coins, which has helped her stack 30K in just 1 year by swapping and not shopping. She shares her collection of financial strategies and tactics to help you stack more coins, create a solid financial foundation for you and your family as well as swap fashion. The goal is to save more, earn more, spend smarter, zero debt, invest, and create generational wealth. Wow. Thank you and welcome, Odetta. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for agreeing to be on the show. It's it's impressive. And I really wanted you to appear today because one, it's Women's Month. One, two, it's around tax time, and there's a lot of cash available. Most times, it's already planned for, and the direction we're heading. It's so important for us to become financially responsible.
Absolutely. There's definitely a lot of money going around right now, and unfortunately, I mean, we see this, and you probably can attest to it. No one is thinking about saving and investing. They're all gonna spend their money and turn up and travel and shop, and the cycle continues, and we're gonna be the same place tomorrow and next month and next year. So, I am passionately. Fortunately for me, I mean, just to give you a little background about me, I've always been an avid saver. I know I talk a lot about stacking coins, but for me, it's easy to save money. And I realize that's a struggle for a lot of people. They don't think of saving, and if they save, they're not going to get that drive or urge or feeling or excitement of saving money, which for me, I do get that excitement when I see my coins being stacked. And I like nice things, just like a lot of us women, we like shopping, but I just shop smart. And since I've started my swap movement about 2 years ago, honestly, I don't even shop anymore. We just had an amazing swap yesterday. So many women have so many beautiful things in their closet, and we all came home with stuff that now we don't have to go buy stuff. We got stuff for free, and these are good things. I mean, when I go out and people say, well, I like your outfit, I always feel happy to tell them, hey, I swapped it. Like, I'm not afraid, I'm not ashamed to say I swapped it, because hey, my bank account is pretty stacked. But it's just shopping smart. If it's swapping might not be your thing, but whatever it is, you just want to shop smart. And because there's money, a lot of us have money, but what are we doing with our money? That's why we're where we are still today. So my goal is really to help people be smarter when it comes to their managing their money.
What is shopping smart?
Good. Shopping smart is, first of all, realizing what's more important. Is it a need or is it a want? Us women, as you know, we buy things all the time. It's not a need. We're buying stuff out of pure because of wants, or maybe we might be stressed out. We had a rough day, or we feel, we've been doing really good and we need to buy some stuff to feel good. But is it something that's going to make us more money or make us better? Or is we're just buying stuff because of buying sake? And most of the time, it's not a need, it's a want. So buying smart or shopping smart is one realizing that what I'm going to spend this money on, even if it's $20, is this a need or is this a want? How is this going to make my life better? And if I really am going to spend, then making sure that however that transaction is that you're going to spend your money, whether it's a credit card, ideally it should be a credit card, because when you spend cash, you're never getting anything beyond that transaction. So I'm a big advocate of using credit cards, and I say this with utmost 100% confidence, because when you spend credit cards or debit cards, you're leveraging, you're using people money smarter, but not everyone can do that. But spending smart is when you're buying something, first recognizing a need versus a want, and secondly, making sure that whatever you spend that money on, you're getting leverage, you're getting more than the item. So it might be credit cards, miles, it might be cashback points, it might be bonus points. Everything that I buy, I put in my American Express card. And I cannot tell you, I travel for free because I'm spending smart. And plus, I'm buying needs. Yes, I may buy, frivolous things here and there, but most of the time I'm buying truly needs. Like my needs are my grocery, utility bills, car insurance, like everything. It's a need. And yes, if I spend a little hundred here and there, first of all, I can afford it. But again, I'm still spending smart because of the way I'm making that purchase on a credit card that's either going to leverage cashback, bonus points, miles, or something. So my money is working for me beyond that transaction of just buying something.
But is it smart to encourage the use of credit card, especially to someone who might be struggling with saving, right? So is saying that the use of credit card is a better option for those people?
Well, first of all, if someone has a problem with saving money, they're just going to be spending. But we want to get it to a place where, one, we're spending smart. And if we're going to spend smart, yes, we are going to leverage the use of spending on credit card. This way, we're using other people's money, but we also know that we're going to pay that bill off in full at the end of the month. Rich people do this. They use other people's money. We have to get to a place where, first of all, we're spending smart by using other people's money, which is, if a credit card is going to give you 500, fine, but make sure that you can pay off that 500. If you cannot pay off that 500, you're not spending smart. You're spending above your means. So if you have $1,000 credit limit and you want to get more credit, or you want to get better credit or something to help your credit, because in America, we all need credit. But if you have a problem with spending, odds are you're not going to pay that credit card, which means you're not being responsible, which means you're not spending smartly. So if you're not good with, then we need to go beyond that and focus on spending smart first, and then understanding how you can leverage other people's money by using credit cards smartly. But some people can't even get to that point yet because they're just spending out of control. They have no needs versus wants and that kind of stuff. But if you can, then yes, go with it.
Let's go to the beginning. Where do you think that saving, or the mindset of being financially responsible, is taught to a person, or is it a skill that I can develop as an adult?
Anything can be developed as an adult if you put your mind to it. It can absolutely, obviously everyone has different skill sets. Some people are gifted with stuff and other people have to learn it. And yes, it can be learned. Unfortunately, it hasn't been taught in school. I teach at a university and college here in New York, and I'm telling you, we do not have personal finance. I am advocately going head to head, doing it. We don't teach our kids personal finance. We teach them to make money for companies. We teach them to make money for other things, but we don't teach basic personal finance. So as a result, we grow into adult not understanding or learning how to manage our own personal finance. So the cycle continues, but it can be learned. It has to be learned, and it can be learned.
Would you say that saving it's a habit, because one has to be consistent, so it is something that they do habitually in order to see the outcome or the effectiveness of that act, more or less?
You have to save continuously, and you have to also invest continuously. You can't just do it for like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year and stop. Because if you do it for a period of time, guess what? We're still living. Cost of living is still going up every year. We still have bills to pay every month. As long as we're living, just same way how we're getting up, going to work, dressing, eating, traveling, taking trips, doing stuff, it has to be an ongoing task that we're doing. But because of technology, it can also be automated. It's not something that you have to like physically go to the bank and save money or go to the bank and invest. There are things that people can do to automate the process and they don't even realize they're saving. But it has to be an ongoing something, not just for a period of time and then you stop. You got to keep filling the bucket.
It has to be a habit. It has to become a habit.
It has to become a habit,
Right?
and yes, it definitely does. And if it's not a habit where it's natural to you, then there are things to do to make it happen without you even realizing you're saving.
And what are some of those things that one can do?
Well, because of technology, there's a slew of different apps that people can use. There's one of my all-time favorite apps I always talk about. It's called Acorns. Acorns is an app that when you shop or when you spend money, again, on credit card or debit card, you link these cards to your Acorn app. Every time you spend money, I personally say I feel good spend money, because when I spend money, automatically I'm saving money, automatically I'm investing money, whether I want to or not. Just by me making a purchase or a transaction and I swipe my card, I swipe my debit, I swipe my checking credit card. Every time you make a purchase, automatically you're saving. So if you buy something for $4.50, it's going to run it up to $5 and you save and invest 50 cents. Now picture you, if you're someone who are a spender, every time you spend money, you are literally saving money whether you want to or not. There's a slew of apps that does this. And then there's different apps that also helps you to just save money without you even doing anything. Guys, you download these apps, you link it up to your checking account, your debit, your credit card, and that's it. You're saving whether you want to or not. Like there's no, you don't have to think about it. It's just gonna save for you once you, especially if you're someone who are a spender.
Now I have I have a slew of questions.
Good.
Would you encourage someone who has debt to just start saving, or should they try to develop a plan to pay their debts before starting to save? That's one option. Or the second thought is, should they have maybe, let's say, $2,000, and they will keep that in their savings account, and then they start to pay off their debt? Which is a better option for us?
Okay. Ideally, you want to do both simultaneously. Here's why. Anyone that has debt cannot grow and build wealth. Your debt, the interest on your debt is so much higher than any money you have sitting in a bank saving money. So I'm always going to say, try to do both at the same time. Yes, most of the money should probably go towards your debt because your interest rate is 18, 19, 20, 30. It's ridiculous. But you don't have money sitting in a bank or money sitting anywhere earning you 18, 19, 20, 30%. So yes, focus on paying off your debt, but simultaneously, you still want to also be saving something, even if it's $100, $50, something. Because while we're paying off that debt, we also need to have our emergency fund. And most people don't even have an emergency fund. That's why they even went into debt in the first place. So yes, if you have a really large amount of debt, I always say, let's tackle your debt. Let's get rid of your debt, because you cannot win at the money game with debt. So your debt.
So someone is listening to us and they're like, okay, Odette and Sharmin, I have my debt. I want to pay that off, but I live paycheck to paycheck and I can only afford the minimum payment. What would you say to that person?
I'm going to tell them right there and then they're lying to themselves. They're lying to themselves because yes, we're living paycheck to paycheck, but when I sit with people and I do a financial checkup with them, there's a lot of things that they're paying for that they have no business paying for because it's not a need versus a want. So we take it back to the very basic where we look at, okay, you say you're living paycheck to paycheck, so let's see where this money is being spent on. And let's find ways to reduce your liabilities. Let's find ways to increase cash flow, but you're still doing the same, whatever is your paycheck, salary, or income. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. So if you're working for $500 a week, you're bringing home your debt, your liabilities, your bills should not be more than $500. So we look at what are your bills? What are your liabilities? Let's see what we can get rid of. Maybe you don't need to be watching cable. Maybe you don't need to be buying Starbucks every day. Maybe you don't need to be eating out 3 nights a week. We got to find things that we can free up cash. This way, some of this money could go towards your debt because your debt is more important. So yes, you might be living paycheck to paycheck, but there's got to be some give and take here. So we got to cut back on something to free up some money to pay off this debt, because then what? Nothing is going to happen, and you're going to keep spending because we see that people are spending, but they're just not spending money towards their debt. They're not putting money towards their debt, but they're spending. They're going on trips, they're eating out, they're going out, they're buying clothes, they're shopping, they're doing stuff. Even with that paycheck to paycheck syndrome that they say, oh, I can't save, or I can't pay my debt because I have paycheck to paycheck, but you're still taking that same paycheck to paycheck and doing other stuff.
So what would be your advice to those people?
Cut back on their liabilities. Look at their liabilities, reassess their budget, and see what can they truly afford, what's truly a need. And for sometimes when we look at their budget and we see, okay, everything is really a need, then the only thing left to do is to get a second job. It's to find another source of income.
Yeah.
When we've done everything that we can with your budget and there's really nothing else you can do, you got to get a second source of income. And everybody needs a second source of income, even if they're not living paycheck to paycheck. Everybody needs a second source. Because with that second source, now you can save and invest more.
What's the ideal amount of your income should one save?
10 to 20%. Easily 10 to 20. For some people, if they're not used to saving, start with 10. For someone who's already saving, okay, let's stretch our muscle a little and bump it up to 15. And then for others like me and more, 20, 30%. The more you save and invest, it's better. You're never going to hear someone complain and say, oh, I have too much money, right? The more money you have is never a problem. So if you can save more. But what we see is that most people can't even begin to save. So I say start with 10%. Start with 10% and work your way up. The statistics are alarming. I mean, 1 in 2 people are living paycheck to paycheck. 1 in 3 people are in debt. We have $13 trillion sitting in bank accounts, savings earning less than 1%. It is really, really bad. Then you have people who can't even deal with a $500 emergency bill. Like if something happened to their car or their homes or they lose their, people are 1 or 2 paycheck away from being homeless because they're literally living paycheck to paycheck. This is serious. So what it really comes down to is, 1, we've got to look at our budget, buy stuff that we can afford. I cannot tell the last year I bought clothes. And if I did, maybe it might be like, I probably spent something like 100 or 200 in the last 4 or 5 months or whatever. I can afford it. But because I realized the value of personal financial education and how that's going to set me up 20, 30, 40 years, and I don't even have kids. So I could just imagine someone who has kids, because most of these people, they're not even thinking about college education. They're not even thinking about college savings, and they have kids. And then, of course, there's a retirement crisis because, as you know, Social Security is in limbo. 2034, the year 2034 will be no Social Security. People who are getting it today is not even enough today. So what's going to happen if we're not saving, if we're not investing, if we're living paycheck to paycheck? What's our future going to look like in 20, 30 years from now?
We'll get to the to the retirement aspect of it. I just want to remind our viewers that you're tuned in to Talk Time with Sharmin. I'm your host, Sharmin Prince, and I have the lovely SWAT Queen here with me, Odetta King, and we're talking about the importance of personal finance, the importance of financial literacy, something that seems to be absent in our community. Uh, you, Odette, I was speaking to someone today um, in preparation for this show, and some of the things that the financial irresponsible language that comes out of our people in from our community, it's sometimes it's frightening, and that's why it's important that you be here today. What are some things that people can do with their tax refunds?
I'm glad you said that. Obviously, we need to be saving some money. Like, people are getting the money right now, and you and I know saving is not one of those things. So number one, we need to be saving. So if you're going to get back $2,000 or whatever you're getting, a third of that money should go towards saving. What are we saving towards? It might be your retirement. It might be sending your kids through college. It might be paying down. Just put in some money somewhere. What is your emergency fund? Because most people don't have an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months, they say. Honestly, 3 to 6 months is nothing. Some people are taking longer to find a job. So part of your tax money should go towards savings. Part of your tax money should also go towards paying down your debt, because most people have debt. And we need to be paying that debt. Why? Because that debt is going to keep us in bondage. It's going to keep us enslaved because the interest rate is so high. So you want to pay your debt. The third thing that you also want to be doing is putting money towards some kind of investment vehicle. And whether it be starting a business or investing in a business or investing in real estate, whatever form of investment that might be for whoever that person is. So those are the 3 things. Save some, pay down your debt, and put some money towards investment. And of course, I don't have to tell them spend some, because they're going to spend it regardless.
So you said investment. Now, most of the people that receive those checks, those large checks, right, from their tax refund, don't have the financial education to know where to invest, and they wouldn't spend time researching. So maybe give us 2 simple examples of investment that they can participate in that is easy.
Right. 2 things that they can do right off the bat. Everyone needs to have a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is a retirement account. The max you can put in there is $5,500 per year. Everybody needs to be maxing out their retirement, their Roth IRA. This is something that anyone can set up. It's easily to be done. You just call up a broker, or this is something that I can possibly help you guys set up as well. But a Roth IRA is like opening a bank account. It's just a retirement account. $5,500 is the max that people can put in a year. Most people are probably not going to get back $5,500, or even if they do, they're not going to want to put all of it. But we should be maxing out our Roth. This is tax-free money that's growing, and it's an investment vehicle towards our retirement. Another thing that you can do when it comes to investment is most people have a job. They may have a 401k, they may have a pension, they may have a 403b, a 457. Guess what? You could also put some more money there.
Should they put the
but
max?
For me, the number one, no. When it comes to your job retirement, you only put enough to get whatever the company is matching. So if the company said, okay, Sharmin, if you put $10, I'm gonna match 50 cents or $1, put enough to get the match and nothing else. Enough to get the match. Your first place where you really should be putting the money is your Roth IRA, because this is money that's growing tax-free. From the Roth, if you max it out to your 5,500, which you and I know most people are not putting 5,500 there, but you want to max that out first. Your second thing that you can do is probably dump more money in your job retirement, if it's a 401k, 457 or whatnot. And then anything after that, you can open your own retirement or your own investment brokerage account. There's so many robot stuff that you can do. And then also my favorite is cash value life insurance. Everybody needs to have a cash value life insurance. I'm not talking term and I'm not talking whole, because if you know what I know, those are not the best vehicles to hide money and also not the best vehicle to dump a lot of money. So most people may have life insurance, but they're not going to put money there because they're like, well, life insurance is for death insurance. Wrong. So those are the 3 places that you can put. Start with your Roth. Max that out, 5,500. Put some in your job retirement if your job is matching. If your job is not matching, the third place you want to be putting that is in a cash value life insurance. And those are all things that I can help you guys with. But you got to be investing, because saving alone is not going to do it. Because again, when you're saving, where you and I are going to save our money is in the banks. The banks are not going to give us a lot of interest. You got to be investing your money and put your money somewhere that's going to outpace inflation. The country's inflation is 5%. If you have your money sitting anywhere that's giving you less than 5%, you're not winning at the money game. Most people are like, well, Odetta, where is this? This is why I do what I do. Because I know where to tell you to put your money, to grow your money quicker. And nothing is, I mean, this is all information that's out there, but because this is what I'm passionate about, I make it my business to learn and study these information. So those are my 3 tips where people can put some of their, investments money when it comes to their tax returns.
So let's say I received my tax refund and I have $1,000 and I want to open a cash life insurance, cash value. How do I do that? Do I have to take a medical?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you continue, because I'm going to ask about pre-existing conditions.
Okay. So obviously, yes, for cash value life insurance, it's an application process. Everyone needs to apply for it. And yes, your health has to be it doesn't have to be perfect or top rated, but they do require a medical to get. This is why it's extremely important for people as they're younger to get life insurance, but the right type of life insurance, because the older you get, you're going to have some ailments, you're going to have some aches and pains, some medications in your system, or different things may pop up. Then you become a risk and you may not be insurable to some companies. So the earlier you get it, especially if you're healthy, is the better.
Can someone be denied because I'm looking at a comment and someone said they were denied for life insurance because of health conditions?
Absolutely. Okay. You can be denied. In fact, I have a client that I'm helping right now, and she has a tumor in her head, and even though it's not cancerous, the insurance company doesn't want to take on that responsibility because they're like, well, in 5, 10, 15 years, it could turn cancerous. So it's their requirements. If they feel that, whatever ailment it is or whatever they found on your medical could be a potential risk, they're not going to insure you, because for them, it's like now they're going to have to pay you out if something does happen 10, 15, 20 years. So this is why it's good to get it when you're healthy. And if you don't get it while you're healthy, and in this case where, some things happen to them, there's still other types of life insurance that you can get, but it's not going to be, the cash value and all that extra stuff. But there's different types of life insurance.
So, should a parent of young adults who might be employed now enter the job market or have been in the job market for a while, should that parent encourage the young adult to take out a life insurance with cash value?
Absolutely, honey. I don't have any kids, but the minute I get a child and they got a social security, my little swap queen or swap princess or swap prince will have their cash value life insurance, because you know what? That's money that's going to be stacking from day one. That's money that's going to supplement their college. Well, not supplement, but pretty much pay for their college.
Mm-hmm.
There's no debt. That's money that's going to go towards buying their house. That's money that's going to go towards, hey, you're getting married. You got your money. Other folks or other cultures do these things. I have a client right now. I have two clients right now. One is about to have a baby. The other one has 3 kids. 1-year-old, 4-year-old, 7-year-old. They all have life insurance, cash value life insurance. And I said to her, I envy you, because by the time this kid turned 18, do you know how much money he's going to have? Now, picture if you and I, if our parents did this for us. At 18, we stacking. At 18, we don't have to deal with no BS if a job is giving us to run around. We could afford to choose if we want to take a job or not, because we're not strapped for cash. At 18, we could open a business. We could buy a building. The earlier the better. So 1-year-old, they got a social security. We need to be getting their life together, because they're going to appreciate it when they turn 18 and we say, hey, this is how much money you have, without them doing nothing. Absolutely. I don't have any kid. And the information that I have, I'm like, oh my God, Jesus, please bless me with a child. They definitely need to.
In our remaining time, let's talk about retirement. How important it is for us to invest in retirement.
Listen, the reality is right now, and I'm telling you this from personal experience, I have people who are retired in their 60s. I'm dealing with a couple right now. I actually grew up with them in my home country in Guyana. I went to their house, and when they could tell me, Odetta, who knew that you as a little kid coming to my house would be in a position to save my future? I wish, well, I could, there's no way I could have helped them earlier because I was a little girl, but the information that I have, the people that I'm helping every day today, I wish that I could have helped them 10 years ago, because they're all retiring right now and their retirement is in limbo. Yes, they have a pension. Yes, they have a 401k. Yes, they have a 457, but because they never understand how to save properly for their retirement, yes, they're retiring, but they're not enjoying retirement. Yes, they're retiring, but they will have to go back out to work, or they're going to have to supplement maybe 2 days a week, 3 days a week. There's a place right now in Brooklyn. We have workshops there, and I speak to this man, and he says to me, he's in his 70s, and he's coming out there and work 2 days a week just to stretch his retirement money. Why do you have to be in your 70s or your 60s and forced to come back out to stretch your retirement money? Most people are living longer today. Technology, modern medicine. The biggest fear right now for people going into retirement is they're going to outlive their money. So that's a stress for me, even knowing that, oh my God, if I don't do the right things now, I could be in my 70s and still stressing about money. I could be in my 70s and don't even know how I'm going to make my day-to-day bills. And the worst thing you want to do is be old and broke. Because when you are old and broke, nobody's going to come around you. As we say in Guyanese, nobody's going to give you a glass of water. You're not going to come around you because you are a burden. You are a burden when you are old and broke. Even when we're young, we're a burden, but at least we can still, make it do. But when you're old and broke, you are a burden.
But that's so true. I totally agree. I've seen I have so many examples that I can point to about not preparing for retirement, not having the financial literacy or the information available to you.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say someone is listening and they're 30 years old and they're now thinking about investing in a retirement account because they've never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to them, and what percentage of their income should they be investing?
Okay. Well, first of all, I think people need to know how much money they'll need in retirement. There's a formula called the 10-20 rule. The 10-20 rule pretty much states you need whatever's your annual income, you multiply that by 20 years, because statistics shows that we're living longer and we need 20 years worth of income to supplement our retirement years, because now we don't have that income coming in. So just understanding that gives you a picture of, okay, how much money am I going to need in retirement? Whatever's your income right now, multiply that by 20 years. That's the first thing. You know the number. Once you know the number, now we strategize how we're going to get to that number. So I talked about the Roth IRA. Even though that's good, it's still not going to put a dent in the number. Because whatever, if you're maxing out a Roth IRA and you're putting 5,500 max every year, which most people aren't doing, but even if you were doing that, multiply that by 20 years, that's probably going to give you a fraction or quarter of the number that you're going to need in your retirement. So there's a slew of things you got to do. The same way how we got to have multiple streams of income. When it comes to retiring comfortably, we got to do multiple things to have our retirement money set. So the first thing is understand what that number is. Your annual income times 20 years, that's your number you're going towards. Once you realize what that number is, now we strategize with individuals to say, okay, how are we going to get to, let's say for me and my kids, it's $1.5 million. For some other people, it might be 2 million or 3 million, depending on what their annual income is, multiply that by 20 years. But it's not just one thing you're doing. Yes, you may have a 401k. Yes, you may have a pension. Yes, you're going to have a Roth. Yes, you're going to have cash value, life insurance. Yes, you're going to have investment, might have a business, might have real estate. There's different things that people do, similar to filing your taxes. Everyone's taxes is unique. So when we sit with families and do a personal financial checkup based on what you're working with, we see what we need to optimize and maximize. So it's not a one cookie fit all, but what I will say is that you got to have multiple things going or working in your favor to bulletproof your retirement.
The word investment keep coming up, but
because you gotta invest. You can't just save. You can't save your way to retirement. You have to invest.
But just that word makes people get scared.
They shouldn't.
That's the point. That's the point, Odetta.
Because they don't know. Because they don't understand. They don't understand. They don't know where to put their money, and they think you have to have like this stock market, degree. No.
But that's what I'm saying. They don't know that. They're not aware that you don't need that knowledge. Talking to the swap queen can give you some pointers on, point you in the direction where you can invest your money or whatever. But because this is, you have to understand, Odette, and that's why I wanted you to come on the show. This is something new to our community, especially Afro-Guyanese, where I had a heated discussion with someone, and they believe that in order for a person or an adult to have a healthy financial life, they should have been socialized in that environment. They should have been taught how to save from early. And they supported it with a lot of data about development, right? But I believe that if we understand, if we have the information, and it's so important what you're doing, and I want to thank you, Odetta, because the information is so important for us right now, because we cannot say we did not know. The information is available and you're here. So I want you to give out your contact information and then we will continue.
Thank you. Well, guys, you guys can find me on my website, which is odettaking.com, odettaking.com. That's my name. My phone number also is 973-842-7927. Again, 973-842-7927. But the best way to get hold of me is to go to my website, odettaking.com. Click on the Call Me tab. Let's set up a free consultation one-on-one where I can help you with your personal finance. Because if you have debt, we need to be talking, because you need to be aggressively getting rid of your debt. It's baby steps. You're not going to get out of debt immediately, but there has to be certain things that you have to do. And you just paying your debt anyhow, whenever, and put in any amount is not going to get you out of debt any sooner. If you understand the rule of 72, you're actually going to stay in debt longer, and you're paying your debtor 2 and 3 times. So I tell people, if you have debt, if you're struggling with saving, if you don't have your retirement strategy, if you have kids and you don't know how your kids are going to go to school, because I poll my students every semester and I say, how many of you have debt? Within the first year, 3/4 of them put their hands up. You're already in debt, 3/4. Why? Because their parents didn't do the right thing and set it up so that when they turn 18 and they go off to college, they could say, you know what, go for your 4-year, don't worry about the bills. Just study and pass and get a good job. No, these are parents that, they probably did the best that they can with the limited information that they have. And as a professor, and as you yourself who who did your PhD, when it comes to facts and data, we know that can be skewed based on what message we're trying to put out. We will find data to support that message. So for me, I don't look at the data as the facts anymore, because it can be skewed. Whoever's paying to run that data, or whoever's paying to run that article or to write this research, they're going to find a targeted pool to support that data. So everything is not black and white, and everything black and white is not really 100%. Because if I want to talk about, X, Y, and Z, then yes, I'm going to find a target pool and poll them, and hopefully they'll tell me what I want to write about and supplement whatever, my cause is. But what I will say is knowledge is power, and financial education. I don't care how much money you make. I never used to understand why people win the lottery and they still broke 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I never could understand it until now, me getting the grasp of financial literacy. Because you can make a lot of money, but if you don't know to grow it, if you don't know to protect it, if you don't know to invest it, you still broke. Because people like me are going to come along and have less than you, and we're going to surpass you because we understand financial literacy.
Question. How important is goal setting in financial literacy?
100% important. If you don't have a goal, what are you striving towards? That's the first thing we do when we sit with families. We ask them to set up financial goals, and most people never even thought about it. So if you don't think about your financial goals, you're just existing. You're not even living. You're just existing, because it's like life is going to happen to you, and you're going to constantly be in reactive mode. If you don't know where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, do you want to buy a house? Okay, great. Okay, how are we going to buy this house? Where's this money coming from? If you want to start a business in 10 years, or if you want to retire in 20 years with 10,000 coming in every month. Okay, if you don't set these goals, life is just going to happen to you and you're constantly going to be in reacting mode. So we got to start with setting goals, because people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. So we got to start with financial goals. And it could be something simple as, you know what, I just want to have 6 months emergency setup, or I just want to have an extra 10,000 by the end of this year. Whatever.
What is emergency fund? Explain emergency fund. And
okay, my battery's died, so hold on. Let me grab my thing.
This is Talk Time with Sharmin, and I'm your host, Sharmin Prince, and we have Odetta King here today. We're talking about financial management and the importance of financial management, and your retirement, the importance of retirement and savings, and how you should save, what you should save, where you should put those savings. Before Odetta went to get her battery,
I'm back.
Is about the goal setting and the importance of goal setting. So Odetta, what is emergency fund, and how much emergency fund should a person have at all times?
Awesome. Well, pretty much an emergency fund is, we all know emergencies are going to pop up. Whether we want to or not, life is going to happen. The kids are going to act up. You're going to lose your job. The roof is going to fall in. Your tire is going to blow out. You may have to take an emergency trip. Your lights may get cut off. Something is going to happen. I mean, that's life. That's just how life is. Things are going to pop up. And most of the times, people are not prepared for it. Statistics shows that people can't even deal with $500 emergency pop-up because they're living paycheck to paycheck. So things are going to happen. And when things happen, we need to be in a position where we can financially deal with those things. So ideally, we want to have 3 to 6 months set aside in an account for emergencies. So I'm from Guyana. Maybe something happened and I have to, book a plane ticket and go home to take care of something. Or maybe an opportunity comes up and I want to jump on it. I have extra money. Or maybe for people who are employed, they lose their job. Or maybe the kid gets sick. Or maybe they get sick. Or whatever that is, something will pop up and you need to be financially ready to deal with it. So 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months of what? Of what figure?
Of living expense. So whatever your living expense. Right. So if your monthly bills or your expenses $2,000 a month, you need to have 6 months of that set aside somewhere. So if you lose your job, you could still pay all your bills for 6 months. Living expense.
Repeat that.
You need to have 3 to 6 months emergency. And I know people are gonna be like, well, Odetta, like I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, I get it, but let's scale back. Let's see what we can cut, even if it's just you putting aside $10 a day. If you save $10 a day for 30 years, that's close to $500,000 with $10 a day. Now, you and I know that a lot of us are spending $10 a day easily. So that's $10 a day. $10 a day saved somewhere for 30 years is almost $447,000, $500,000. And if you make that 20, that's close to $1 million in 30 years. So it's not about saving a lot of money. It's about saving consistently. So let's start with our emergency. If nothing else, let's start with our emergency. You guys are going to get your tax money back. Put some money in an emergency account. Save some money towards your emergency. If you have a Roth, everyone should have a Roth. Put some money in your Roth account. But we don't even see the emergency. Let's start with our emergency.
So there you have it. The emergency fund is your living expenses, your monthly expenses, the total, and 3 to 6 months. I like the 6 months idea. um, of that. Um, there was a question about retirement. Um, I was listening in preparation. I was, trying to read, and I read about this young woman who saved $85,000 in 2 years. Um, and she's going to retire in 6 years because of how her plan. That's why I asked you about the importance of goal setting. And I was extremely impressed. But there is a caveat. But the sacrifice, and I think it's something that we need to let our viewers understand, that there is a sacrifice that goes with it, with saving, and attaining your goals, whatever goal you set, because you might not be able to go to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee every day anymore. You might not be able to go to happy hour, right? You might not be able to, I don't know, see the Broadway show once a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's understanding that there's sacrifice involved, and accepting that, yes, I'm making this sacrifice for the next 5 years, but after the 5 years, I'll be able to enjoy a cup of Starbucks.
Right. And it's all in moderation too. Some people make it, some of these articles that I read, people make it very extreme. It doesn't have to be extreme. Just reduce something, right? And whatever that something is. I mean, if that thing is Starbucks for you, then it's, as opposed to having, or maybe spend, as opposed to having 5 days Starbucks, maybe just have 2 days or 3 days. So people need to understand that, yes, there is a sacrifice, but the sacrifice doesn't have to be that great. Baby steps. If this is all new territory to you, start with baby steps and work your way up eventually. Because I promise you, once you start seeing how much money you're saving or investing or growing, you're going to wish you had done it sooner. And worst case scenario is you're just going to, like I always tell people, you're just going to, retire broke and eat ramen noodle. And if you're okay with that, then that's fine. But I will be the first to say, don't look at me in your 60s and 70s, because of that. I've been doing this in my, years ago, because I plan to retire rich, and I'm on schedule to retire rich. And I don't even have any kids at this point. I need a child. But you have to do these things. If that's a goal of yours, some people have that YOLO syndrome. They just want to live now. They don't care about the future. Well, that's fine. If that's your attitude and that's your prerogative and that's your lifestyle, it's fine. But just understand that when life hits you in your 70s or your 80s, it's going to be too late. I rather caution someone to have something than nothing.
I agree. I totally agree.
And then we can't even depend on these kids, because you may say, oh, well, my kids are going to help me. We live in America. Like, you're going to be in a nursing home, the kids. And if you didn't do the right thing, odds are your kids may not even do the right thing too. They may be living paycheck to paycheck too. They might be in debt. They're going to have their own life situation. So who's really going to help who? If you didn't help yourself and you think your kids are going to help you and they're doing the same thing like you, then who's really helping who? So the cycle continues.
Wow.
We know that it's not the right way. We see other generations, we see other culture excelling and doing stuff and passing on legacy and businesses and money and wealth and power. We see it happening in other cultures. So why can't we do it? It's not enough for us to say, well, it is what it is. It may not be on that magnitude, but there's certain things that we can do on our own with our little whatever we have.
So before we go, I have to share this. I'm talking to someone and I said to them, Odette is going to be on today, and you should, tune in and listen. At least you may get some tips about financial management. And the person said to me, I throw my box.
I love it. Bring it on. Bring it on.
The reaction that you just saw is the reaction that I gave because I couldn't believe it. That some in 2018, in some, despite the exposure to the information and the knowledge that is out here, some people think that that's financial management.
No.
Which it is. No, let's give it. If when you're doing it and at the end of it, you're investing, it's totally different. But by the time, at the end of the 2 years when the box ends, you already have plans because it's been a strain.
Actually, here why that's actually worse.
Okay.
When you're, let's say you have, I'm Guyanese and I get this, and I have people who tell me, in fact, I spoke to a client last week who said, oh, Dada, but I even one of my best friends, she's like, oh, Dada, I'm not trying to listen to you. I put me $500, I do my box hand. And I said, here, why? First of all, we're in 2018. We have so much more information from eras ago when we had no real, 20 years ago, if my parents were doing box, that's great. We're in 2018 where technology is at an all-time soaring and it continues to soar. But also just understanding the interest part. When you throw backs or box or a hand or a susu, whatever you put in, that's what you get out, not a cent more. So you're putting your money and you're tying up your money for 2 years. And all you're getting back is that money that you put for 2 years, nothing more. I will never, ever put my money somewhere where all I'm getting is the exact same thing and no interest. I'm putting my money where I'm outpacing inflation. So if I'm going to throw a box, I'm going to tell this person or let them know at the end of 2 years, I need 5%. Or whatever the interest is, but don't tell me that I'm going to give you $100 every month, and after 2 years, all I'm getting is $2,400.
Yep.
No, that's not being smart with your money, because your money is not growing. Your money is not being invested. There's no interest in there. And then what they do is they spend the money and they start the box all over again. They're not even investing that money. So if you had said, well, you know what, that I just want to do this to help me save, and then when I get it, I'm going to flip it. They're not even flipping it. They're spending to buy a TV set, a furniture set, a car or something, which is not really even making more money for them. And the box start all over again. So if you do that every year until you retire, tell me, what do you have in your retirement? Nothing. You have nothing going for you in your retirement, because every 2-3 years when you start that box over, you didn't save that money. You spend that money. And plus, you're losing because you didn't make money on top of that money. It's all about working smarter and putting your money to work for you. Anytime you put your money somewhere, it better bring you more money. Box is not a good place to save money.
Is CDs a good investment?
Absolutely not. Think about this way. Actually, my cousin is watching right now and she's telling me I throw my box. People still do here. Yeah, because you don't know better. Because you don't know where to put your money. Because you don't understand the bare concept of put your money where it's going to earn more money. Not put your money where you're going to get the same amount of money. People need to understand they need to put their money where it's going to give them more money. You throwing your box for $100 a week or $100 a month, You could be saving that. Even if you put it in the bank, at least you're going to get 1% or 0 point something, and which is still a lot better than the box. But why do people do box? Because they're not disciplined. They're not committed. And secondly, they don't understand personal finance. No. Everybody who's joined box right now need to be setting up a consultation with me. You guys could be doing so much more with that same box money. And you're dropping coins. No, I don't want to hear people doing box. Like, no, like it like they're wasting money.
So now here is a niche or a market that you can tap into, because there's so many people in the diaspora from every country in the Caribbean and Central and South America that believes in that investment. I think it's good with the discipline, because they are committed every week to throw in their hands, right? Mm-hmm. With that investment, that's a very good discipline. Right. If they can use that same discipline and you can propose an alternative investment that is going to reap some interest, I think you just found yourself a new outlet and to educate our people.
Absolutely. 100% life insurance cash value. I'm not talking term. I'm talking life insurance cash value. The same $100 or $500 or $200 or $300, whatever you're putting diligently, you can still put that diligently, and it's going to give you much better rewards, interest, grow tax-free. And we all know anytime you're getting tax-free money, you're saving money right off the bat. But also that money that you're throwing in your box, you have no interest at all whatsoever that you're getting, and you're diligently going every week to throw it. Put that same discipline and put that same money in a cash value life insurance. Guys, you need to understand, one of the ways to build wealth, one of the ways to accumulate wealth, one of the ways to pass down wealth from generation to generation has always been cash value life insurance. But again, our society, our diaspora, we don't know these things. So we stick to what we know, throw the box hand. And this is why the cycle continues, because we do not know better. And the 1% is like myself who know better. We try to educate our own and do better. But it shouldn't be 1%. Guys, we're living in the technological age. You can Google anything. I get it. People are used to the box hand and it's working, but your money is not growing. The country's inflation is 5%. Wherever you're living, the money is not growing. You give these people $100 every week. At the end of the year, all you're getting is $1,200. And you can't even take the money out before the end of the year. With a cash value life insurance, you could take your money out anytime. But if nothing else, your money is making more money. In a box, your money doesn't make more money. Whatever you put in, that's what you're going to get out when your hand draws. You're not making anything extra. So why do you think there's a notion of money should make more money? Money should make more money. Wherever you put your money, it should make more money. Not give you the exact same thing that you put in. It has to make more money. Put your money in places that's going to make more money. You don't get this in a box. You don't get this in a susu. But I get it. It's a generational, I don't want to say generational curse, because it's worked
practice
this generation. But now that we're in 2018, let's level up, people, because knowledge is power. When you know better, you do better. Mm-hmm. You got to put your money somewhere that's going to make more money, hands down. A susu doesn't do that. You're already disciplined. You're already committed to paying this money every month or every week. Just find a place where you can put that money so you could get more money. Investment, a Roth IRA, cash value life insurance, a business, or something where that money is going to double, that money is going to triple, that money is going to grow. You don't get that in a susu. And I know this because I hate these struggles from my own, but I'm like, why? Like, please read, like, educate yourself, learn about personal finance, learn how money works. How money works is simple, guys. You got to put your money to work for you so you make more money. There's going to come a time where we can't afford to keep working for money. The money has to work for us. You got to put your money where it's going to make more money. You cannot get that in a susu. So for everybody who has a susu, y'all need to be setting up a time to talk with me, because I told one of my clients, she's in a susu right now, and she told me it's going to end in April. I said, you know what? You are not starting back in April, because now that you know better, you're going to do better. And I have 2 clients who are doing susu, and both of them I'm scheduled to follow up with them in April, because once the susu ends, now that they know, they're like, oh my God, I could have had so much more money. Like, I could have had so much more money. I'm paying $100. One of them is $200, $300 every month. And I was like, good, but you know how much more money you could have had on that $300 every month in interest if you put it in the right place? All you're going to get is your $300 back after 3 years. I mean, after a year or 2, or however long the box is. You got to put your money where you're going to make more money, not the exact thing. So if nothing else, like this susu thing, we need to break that cycle. Like, that susu thing is not working, because you're going to retire broke. Because first of all, your susu is going to end and you're going to spend that money again.
And then you have to pay the person that I saw Karen mention it, that you have to pay $25 or $50 to the person that is holding the box.
And hope, because there's horror stories with susu. Hope somebody don't run away with the money, because I know people who run away with the money too. Granted, those don't happen all the time, but if nothing else, I need you guys to understand, you got to put your money where it's going to make more money. Wherever you're putting your money, it has to grow. And in susu, your money don't grow. You're not getting interest. And that's what you're getting out, and you can't even take it out before the hand break.
Well, thank you so much, Odetta. Odetta, just leave us with your information again.
Yes, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm super passionate. I'm getting ready to drop my book because I'm all about this stacking coins life, and I feel that so many people need this information. I mean, it breaks my heart when I sit with families every day and I see, their situation. So my goal is to help empower 1 million people throughout the North America, USA, and Canada. And we're diligently talking about finance every day, educating people how to get out of debt, how to save for their college kids without their kids going to out, incurring debt, how to secure their own retirement, like just basic financial principles that we do not know. So to get in touch with me, my website is the best place. It's my name, odettaking.com. Click on the Call Me tab, set up a free consultation. If nothing else, you will learn about your own finance, and there's going to be things that you can do to help yourself. But, I can't say it enough. I mean, if you don't do anything, life is just going to happen to you. But if life happens to you and you know this information, you can be in a better position to react or possibly prevent some of those things. Because I always tell people, money is what's going to help set you apart when life throws you down. When life throws you down, you have your finances together, you could see the best doctor, you could travel wherever you need to go, you could find an apartment if you have to move right away. If you're fired, you know what, you have your money set aside to carry you through, you find another job. Money is the tool that's going to help make the fall cushion. And if you do not have personal finance, or you struggle with your personal finance, this is why I'm here. So get in touch with me. My website, again, it's my name, odettaking.com. Click on the Call Me tab. You can set up a free consultation, or you can call me. My number is 973-842-7927. And let's stack these coins.
How can they contact you via social media?
I'm all over social media. I'm the queen of social media. I'm on Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, but pretty much it's my name. Odetta King. If you Google Odetta King or the Swap Queen, like there's only one Swap Queen named Odetta King, they'll find me.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for being on Talk Time with Sharmin.
Thank
And
you.
guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. This has been Talk Time with Sharmin. Tune in next Sunday again at 6 p.m. for another episode. Good evening and have a great week.
Awesome.